Well, hello and welcome to the 546 Project. 30 minutes or less. We have everyone here, the 546, including a seventh, if you want to call them that. Let's go around and just introduce ourselves. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan, and what we're doing here is basically just some random ramblings, as I would call it for anyone that's ever read my Facebook stuff. It's going to be just, in the title 30 minutes or less, we're going to bring you as much pop culture and random nonsense and hilarity as we can in 30 minutes or less.
Okay, I'm Kevin. I plan on being here for the duration of this podcast for however many episodes it may last, 1 or 1,000, but we'll see. Here to bring you, I don't know, pretty much anything that comes to my mind will be shared in this podcast. There's no really direction. We do plan on plugging something every week. Some of us are into certain things, so we plan on bringing that to you all.
I'm Jason. I will be trying to bring you the latest news in comic and comic-related things.
I'm Nathan. I like stuff. There we go.
Basically, the long and the short, this is a downward spiral into the nether reaches of our minds. Hopefully you all make it past the first episode. If you don't, no one's going to fault you for it.
Or the first minute, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're still
with us a minute 45 into this podcast,
pat yourselves on the back.
we know nothing of which we're doing, so we are going to try our best, and hopefully as time goes on, it'll get a little better, a little tighter.
Yeah, we're just going to bring you into a little bit of our world of what we go through every week. I mean, we've all known each other for a very, very long time. We know each other since high school, so...
Yeah, and Dan and I, it's Kevin, we've known each other since I was like 3 years old.
He was 3 and I was 5, so that takes us into what? Late 80s.
Yeah, so we're 30 years we've been friends.
But it works because the 80s are coming back now, so, you know.
Exactly. So we actually met Nathan in high school in journalism class. Dan and I had, it was Dan's idea first try to do a wrestling page for the school newspaper. And we had no idea what we did or what we were trying to do with that. So Nathan was the editor of the sports section for that paper. And we asked him if he wanted to join in. Also, between Dan and I, pretty much do everything for us.
Yeah, our computer skills at that point, you got to remember, folks, this was 2001. Our computer skills at that point were, so.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, the crazy thing, and I just thought about it while we were trying to get this thing together. It kind of similarly was just like when we were doing the wrestling page. We got out like a clipboard, piece of paper, and wrote down what we wanted it to be on the in the wrestling page. And so we did that for this, and it kind of was a nice memory in that.
I think it should be noted that we successfully kicked off the first and last year for the wrestling column in that newspaper.
Yeah,
I don't even know if there's still a newspaper there. That's the thing.
We're lucky there's still a school there at this point, and they let people go there.
Yes, but if they survive me being there, I'm sure they can pretty much survive anything.
They let this guy out. They'll turn out anybody.
So,
Before No Child Left Behind.
Yeah. So my going into my senior year, my 1.1 GPA really looks good on that school. So. But I digress.
He did more work for the paper than I did. I'll admit that.
You failed that class anyway.
I failed journalism with like a 33%, I believe. But if there's one thing that I brought to that class, it was bringing the public what they wanted. As Dan and Nathan would agree, that I know what the public wants, and back then they wanted top 10 lists.
No, wait a minute. No one said we agreed. We didn't have anything better, so we ran with it. Now let's just pull back on agree a little bit here.
So but I've gotten a lot of shit over that top 10 list over the years. You guys always bring it up and throw it in my face.
In all seriousness, all jokes aside, my problem with top 10 lists, I mean, it's been with the exception of David Letterman, because Letterman is God. But my problem with top 10 lists, nobody's going to agree on a top 10 list. I mean, there's 4 of us here, 5 if you count our silent partner. She's getting mentioned whether she wants to or not. My wife's also with us, but she refuses to talk. We didn't offer.
She's
enough.
busy with a cat on her lap.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes.
we didn't offer enough. There were contracts and all need to be signed. Hopefully, we can get her in here before it's all said and done. But besides that, the other 4 of us here, no one's going to agree on that. Like Kevin will tell you right now that Sid Vicious should be at the top of every top 10 list. That he is the greatest wrestler known to man.
Well, see, that's not necessarily true. I think
know it's not true.
Psycho Sid
Necessarily.
should be at the top of every top 10 list. Maybe not Sid Vicious or Sid Justice, per se. But the great thing about top 10 lists in this kind of environment, in a podcast, that brings and opens up things for discussion. See, in top 10 lists for the school newspaper, we didn't have that capability. But we always had fun discussing it, and that's the whole point.
It's a double-edged sword because, I mean, I didn't want to do it in the paper just because, like I said, I mean, look how long it took us to agree on who should be where.
Right, but in this environment, I think Kevin's right.
It
Top
works
10
for this, definitely.
Yeah, no,
I can get behind
I always
that.
like that's a good way to get me to click on a link. Have like top 10.
Right.
I want to see if I agree, disagree. You know,
Like,
That is true.
If
I can
see
bounce
like
on
the things on Facebook now, because we're in the month of October, I'm the big horror fan of the group, and they're always discussing like the top 10 Friday the 13th films and see what order they are, and always bashing Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell and all this. I personally love Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. I think they're both fun films, and Jason Goes to Hell is so bloody and gory and just so much fun. And I remember having that on VHS when I was a kid, and just pretty much wore my VHS tape out due to that tent scene, which I won't get into any more detail.
I've never
Check it
seen
out
that
yourself.
happen. I've always heard people talk about wearing their VHSs. I've never seen that happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, 14, Jason Goes to Hell VHS tape, it was ruined due to that tent scene. Not only is it the probably most gratuitous sex scene in the series, it is also the bloodiest death, the goriest death in the whole series. The girl is on top of the guy in the tent, and he shoves in the tent pole and slices her straight up the middle.
Oh, when he talks about it anyway.
So, but yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, if you're going to climax, you might as well climax with a tent pole pushes through a woman. So,
It's just no limit
Hi,
October
Mom.
today.
I had
So-
a tape break once. I mean, like just breaking half. Like, I mean, the actual reel itself. So I just put it back together with Scotch tape.
oh, back to
Did it still play?
Yeah, it still played, and you had to like fast forward through that part because there was nothing there.
well, see, that brings back another nostalgic thing, because that's one thing our group is huge about, is just nostalgia. And looking back at video stores, like I can remember going to the video stores or to the local grocery store, and they'd have videos in there, and you're just standing there looking at the tape covers for hours. Like, kids these days, they don't have that luxury.
Any child of the late 80s, I'll even go to the mid 90s, will tell you that one of the greatest pleasures on earth was going to the video store on a Friday night, renting the latest Nintendo game or whatever, because you got to keep it until Monday. So it's without a doubt.
That was video-wise.
Video-wise.
Video-wise,
A to Z
video nights. So
A to Z, if you...
Yep, A to Z video.
You were always an A to Z guy.
Yeah, well, because that's
right
because A to Z Video, we used to go there so often that they let me rent rated R movies when I was a kid. Like, they said, we'll let you rent it if your dad's okay. Dad said okay, so I just went in and rented R-rated movies whenever I wanted to.
That's something else that's lost today, too. Talk about just the small town connection. Because we're all from a pretty small town. The small town connection's gone.
Well, we're from the Ville, so there's not much
You can get no
smaller than that. So
We
we had it rough
I'm
growing
going
up.
to steal a line from The Wizard where they claim Reno is the world's biggest little city. No, that's Morgansville.
Yes. So since we didn't tell everybody where we're from, Morgansville, Hagerstown area in Maryland, Western Maryland is where we're from. We're recording this first broadcast in Martinsburg, West Virginia.
It's our very high-tech recording studio here we have, which I'll go ahead and put out there. Basically, right now, consists of an iPhone on a coffee table.
Yes, iPhone 8 Plus.
We spared no expense.
Spared no expense.
See, we spent all the money on the iPhone, and it just we fell apart from
And
it.
this is a sturdy table.
Oh, it is. Oh, nothing's getting through this thing.
Yes,
Nothing.
absolutely nothing. So,
Spared no expense, correct.
Right. Only the best for you guys. Only the best for you people. And I'd like a side note to go back. I wanted to say that maybe if you all are good, but one day we'll dig out some issues of that high school newspaper.
yes.
I still have them.
I knew somebody.
We
did.
pull out some old top 10 lists
Yeah,
and
it's
hear
cool.
from, was it Dan the Wrestling Man?
That's right.
Caucasian Heat.
And me being the insider.
Yes.
We will regale you with tales of 2000, early 2000s wrestling.
So speaking of wrestling, we're a week removed from Hell in a Cell. Anything you guys want to discuss about that? Since I fell asleep during the main event.
The thing was, with the first match in the main show, that tag team Hell in a Cell, it was great. I mean, we missed the beginning of it.
Yeah, we didn't
but
see
it
the
was,
opening part
right.
of it, but I like to see that even with the way, I mean, let's face it, as we all know, the Attitude Era is gone. It's in, by the looks of things, it's never coming back. They're still trying to do things.
And Chicago just won against Baltimore, everyone. Sorry. Steeler Nation here in this room. They kind of divided between two Steeler fans and two Miami fans. So we're both pretty happy right now.
And
So-
Miami took the W today,
Yes.
too, against
Yes.
the
Miami's
Atlanta
taking up,
Falcons.
I'll call it an upset over Atlanta.
I would say so.
Yeah, I'd definitely call it
Especially
an
off
upset.
a bye. For,
Those Atlanta fans look pretty
Atlanta.
upset.
They're used to it.
So once
yeah.
again, forgive us, but there'll be so
28-3.
many tangents on this show. And we hope that people appreciate that. But
As I mentioned, random ramblings. But
yes.
I mean, this is what we do. We just sit around and we watch a game or wrestling pay-per-view or whatever's on TV, and we just talk about whatever.
Yep, go out to eat, whatever strikes our fancy. So,
But they're still trying to open up things. Going back to Hell in a Cell. I mean, tag team Hell in a Cell. But they haven't done that. That was a nice twist. I thought it was a solid. The pay-per-view, in my opinion, wasn't that bad. I didn't get the outcomes I like, but I rarely ever do.
it was no M. Night twist. But
No, he's got nothing to worry about there. But
I mean, the most noteworthy matches were the tag team Hell in a Cell, and then Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon Hell in a Cell.
And when you have Shane McMahon in a match, you always know he's going to do some kind of
he's
crazy
going to
stunt.
do something batshit crazy
Right.
that
You
usually ends the match.
You got to
So-
give that guy credit because Shane McMahon's probably in his 40s at this point.
No, he
yes.
is.
In
Yeah.
his 40s, something like that. We can get somebody to look that up eventually. But I mean, he went off the cell onto a table. Would have been, for anybody who didn't see it, would have put Kevin Owens through the table, but Sami Zayn saved Kevin Owens at the last minute, which led up. Did I hear 47? 47 years old? Okay, so wow, even closer to 50s. I mean, you got to give Shane McMahon all the credit in the world. To even, I wouldn't do it. Even in my prime, I wouldn't have done it. Hell with that. That's just sick.
I tell you
One
what,
wrong move.
that man is in pretty great shape too.
Oh
But-
yeah, trust me.
But I guess he's
Plus those
forgiven
McMahon
because
jeans.
he's not going to be tested for anything. So I mean,
Right.
he's not going to be failing any testing like Triple H.
well, you
but-
figure, I
a
mean,
part-timer.
but even
Yes.
so, he's only been back in the fold for about what, 2 years?
Has he even been that long?
Has it been? He came back right before WrestleMania. What? Yeah, not this past WrestleMania, but the year before when he fought the
When he
Undertaker.
fought Undertaker?
So yeah, I mean, give him all the credit in the world. He was putting his body on the line.
I would also say, though, that between the first match and the last match, it was okay. The United States match was pretty good. Baron Corbin coming out on top in that one.
Now, I got to say, I was surprised on that one, just under the fact that there's been a lot of talk about Baron Corbin. He was basically punished a few weeks back when he gave up his Money in the Bank briefcase. That's kind of the inside scoop coming out of that. It wasn't just a thing they decided to do. He had apparently had a Twitter debate with, I don't know who it was, but apparently several people within WWE, and they weren't real happy with his comments, so they altered his storyline a little bit. I was surprised that they bounced back and decided to put the title on him.
Yeah, just a little stopgap, I guess. I don't know how long of a run he will have with the United States Championship, but we sure will see about that.
I'm more really. I mean, in Hell in a Cell was cool, but the thing for me that's sticking out in my mind from this past Monday's Raw, the long-awaited reveal of Sister Abigail by Bray Wyatt, which basically what it comes down to is Bray Wyatt in a dress.
So, yeah.
And yeah, we're all kind of just. I've talked about this with a couple of y'all over the past week. I get what they're doing. I understand it. Jason, we were talking about it the other day.
Right.
It's basically saying that he's right in the midst of the feud with Finn Balor right now. He brought the demon back out of Finn, which really he didn't bring it out because Balor's used the demon character before in WWE. So, but he's brought the demon out of Finn Balor. So I guess now Finn Balor has taken him to an even darker place. I'm sorry if you can force somebody to start wearing a dress and acting like a woman. I think you're doing more than bringing a demon down. That's just my opinion. But,
and the fact that it's their third match in a row.
Yeah, it's kind of like this whole angle has been done all wrong. I would have thought, somebody takes the first match, Wyatt takes the first match, brings the demon out of Ballard for the second match, and the second match forces Ballard wins, and it forces Sister Abigail out of Bray Wyatt.
So pretty much they could have just thrown Bray Wyatt in a leather jacket and let him jump over a shark, pretty much, with how bad that this is.
Would he have stolen Balor's leather jacket to do that?
Absolutely.
That would have been awesome.
Absolutely.
There you go.
There's a storyline opportunity
Jump
for you,
the shark and then gave
WWE.
him back the jacket.
You missed it.
But I would have rather seen him just bring somebody up and coming out of NXT or one of the divas that doesn't really necessarily Paige is due back at any point. That's a whole other story because I'm kind of wondering how well she's going to be received with everything that's went on there.
She receives pretty well from what I've seen.
No, that's from what the videos show. She doesn't have a problem with that. But, I would have taken it different. I get it. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the next week or so. But
Okay.
It's amazing that since we've been wrestling fans for so long, when we started watching it, we didn't even think about the storylines. We were just involved with what happened.
And I hate to say it, but look how much more we enjoyed it back
Yeah,
then.
we enjoyed it so much more during the Attitude Era. Like, my life for that period of time between, 8th grade and 12th revolved around wrestling. Like, that was it. Like, that and horror movies. Like, that. That's all I did.
But even back then, and we were in high school. We weren't internet savvy, as we said, but we had plenty of people who were. We knew the ins and outs. We knew what was going on behind the scenes. Take it back to when you were a kid.
Oh, my WCW days.
Right, but and I'll still say one of the biggest jaw dropping moment in wrestling history for me when Hulk Hogan turned into the NWO. Nobody saw that coming. It was one of the greatest moves in wrestling.
Yeah.
That was what, 96?
96.
96.
You know who did see it, though? Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Well, of course. The Brain was a genius.
He sees everything.
The Brain was a genius. God bless Bobby Heenan. Definitely rest in peace. One gone. Man was ahead of his time.
NWO Hulk Hogan, honestly, is really the only incarnation of him to which I found enjoyable or entertaining, to say the least. When I was a little kid, I never watched WWF. I only watched WCW. And, God, Hulk Hogan just always got on my nerves.
But what kid through the mid to late 80s, pretty much before he went to WCW, what kid didn't train, say their prayers, eat their vitamins, wear the shirt, wish they could rip it off like the Hulk, which it wasn't hard. The shirt was already tore to begin with. That to me doesn't signify strength. Come out and have him rip knock a wall down or something.
Well, at least Hulk Hogan never...
you mean like the Shockmaster?
Well, he couldn't do it either. See, Hulk could have. Hulk would have busted through the sawhorse and everything. But no.
Oh yeah.
The Kool-Aid Man. He's a greater man than Hogan ever was. But no, it just,
See, but Sting was my go-to guy. Sting wasn't as colorful and everything as Hulk Hogan. He was colorful in his own right.
I was going to say wasn't colorful.
He was colorful, but not as much on the mic like Hulk Hogan or the Macho
hot
Man.
Pink tights wasn't colorful enough
or
for
Ultimate Warrior, But I don't know.
Hey, it takes a real man to wear a hot pink scorpion on your tights, okay? And those boots, oh my God.
Hey, he pulled it off, rat tail and all.
Hey, Hey, don't be player hating the rat tail.
Hey, I sported the rat tail back in elementary school.
As did I.
Thanks to the Stinger.
That's right.
Old Sting and Stunning Steve and
hashtag
Flying Brian.
Absolutely.
It was, yeah.
You should bring it back.
I've thought about it.
You should bring back the rat tail.
Got a lot of hate for it the last time I thought about doing it.
I actually played the WWE 2K18 game yesterday, and they have, I believe, 4 different Stings in that. They have the Sting when he was early WCW.
That's the early or the late 80s Sting.
They have the one where he has red face paint.
Okay, so the NWO Wolfpack.
They have one where he has the white face paint.
NWO
naturally.
Sting.
And then they have the one where he was recently back with WWE for like
The broken
two
back
matches.
sting. Okay.
Yeah.
Broken backs. Well, I guess the white face paint, that's more like the crow
We're looking
sting.
at you, Seth Rollins.
Right. Thanks, Seth.
That's more like not so much the NWO sting, the white paint. That's the crow sting when he dyed his hair black and everything. And
Right.
was
Well,
hanging
I
out
mean,
above the rafters and all that.
correct. So, the whole idea of the podcast is just going through all this randomness and everything. We're approaching the 20-minute mark now, 30 minutes or less.
Well, Kevin,
so,
you got something cool you wanted to talk about that's going on that you're getting into this weekend, am I right?
yeah, next week, October 19th to the 22nd, I'm going to be in Columbus, Ohio for the Nightmares Film Festival. A friend of mine has his debut feature. It's been selected for it. It's called I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday. It was nominated for 2 awards at the festival, including Best Actress portrayed by Hope Bickel, and Best Midnight Feature. So this is actually the first film festival I've ever been to. I've been to horror cons and all that kind of stuff, Scares That Care, Horror Find, all those. So I'm very interested to now be a part of his journey into going for his debut feature. I'm super excited for him. I can't wait to see it, and I really hope that he gets a lot of networking opportunities done here, and hopefully sell off those film rights, because I've been around him for pretty much the entire part of the filming, and I mean he's put his heart into every single aspect of this movie, doing the editing, the shootings. I was there on set for 16-hour days. So it's going to be great. I really hope this movie does it for him, so he can start doing the things he loves to do full time. So once again, that movie is called I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday. It'll be playing Friday, October 20th at 2 p.m. at the Gateway Film Center. Anyone who is in the area, I highly recommend stopping by and checking it out. You will not be disappointed. So that was pretty much what I was going to pitch for week 1. So, Jason, Dan,
Jason,
Nathan?
you wanted to bring up, go for it.
Yeah, on Tuesday, coming to DVD and Blu-ray, we have Batman versus Two-Face. Adam West's last go-around is Batman, voicing Batman.
Still can't believe he's gone.
Yeah, it's... I did see that Family Guy will be addressing the loss of him and Carrie Fisher coming up shortly.
Very cool. Very cool.
But yes, we get to see or hear him as Batman one last time. William Shatner does an excellent job as a very Batman 66 take on Two-Face. Burt Ward still has it as Robin. And we have Julie Newmar as Catwoman. If you're a fan of the old Adam West Batman series, I highly recommend checking it out this coming Tuesday.
Well, anyone who's not a fan of that series, I don't think we can be friends. But continue.
Yeah, once we get that Facebook page started, just leave us alone.
Yeah.
Anybody that doesn't like it, I mean, I'm sure there are those who, but
No, I'm sure.
You
It's-
got to have respect for it. It started the whole thing.
Right. I mean, you had to take a look at the time. It was the 60s and everything. I was a kid, and they used to play on TV all the time.
Fox 5.
On Fox 5, and I just loved it to death, man. Bat burgers, come on.
Right. I mean, it was like then you didn't realize it was campy. Like then it was
Right.
it was serious. Like, oh my God, how are they getting out of this death trap? And luckily, we were able to watch the next episode right away, and we didn't have that 24-hour gap of knowing if Batman and Robin were going to make
Well,
it.
it's just like it goes back to 80s wrestling. I mean, come on. Who didn't believe that, the earthquake killed Jake Roberts, the snake? Like, what diabolical fiend would do that in front of a live audience? You know, we didn't know better back then.
Right. And, that campiness and everything for, us. Like, Dan and I's, one of our favorite shows is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Everybody back then used to give me shit about it, at least in school, laughing at me when I would get the Scholastic books to the book fair. And now everybody in their 30s looking back with 90s nostalgia
Wishing
are
they
like,
had
oh
it
my
for
God,
what it's
Power
worth."
Rangers, they were awesome.
Plus,
I'm
let's face it.
but these people never admitted to it then.
Plus, let's face it, with the 60s Batman, who didn't want to run up and punch somebody in the face and see bang appear?
Pow! I mean,
I'm
come
gonna
on.
hit you
Exactly.
so hard, words are going to
Yeah,
appear in the
exactly.
air.
I mean,
That's
who
what I
didn't
want to
want
tell
that
people
to happen?
sometimes.
Exactly. Nathan, what did you want to pitch for this week?
This week, the NLCS is going on. Game 2 tonight. The Dodgers are up 1-0. I'm a Dodgers fan. So hopefully
No one's perfect.
they can. Hopefully they can finally win an NLCS and get to the World Series. First time.
The World Series! Sorry, a little John Candy channeling for you folks.
Rookie of the year.
So, but they're going against the Cubs, right? So,
Yeah, rematch of last year, and the Cubs went on last year and won the World Series. But
the whole way to the World Series, and I'm on the air, and I'll be right back.
You know what else?
Too
You know
bad
what
our-
else I'd like to plug that happened today? I'd like to plug those fantasy football waiver wires that are going to be burning because of Aaron Rodgers' broken collarbone.
out for the season.
That's
Yes.
that's going to mess things up.
That's a big loss for the Pack.
Now you're greasing your hands up, so I'm taking it you don't have Aaron Rodgers on your team.
Oh no! I don't.
So you're not too terribly upset.
So who's backing him up?
Their backup is Brett Hundley.
And what's
You heard of him?
Absolutely not. What's the verdict on what's the verdict on him?
Well, he hasn't played much because obviously Aaron Rodgers gets all of the snaps unless it's the preseason.
Packers going shopping.
Well, Brett Favre's still out there. I mean,
Good old number 4.
Bring it back. 90s nostalgia is huge, folks. So
Right.
maybe we'll see Brett Favre back in Green
Bring
Bay.
back Brett Favre and the Rat Tail all by the next podcast.
Yes. All right, Dan, we're approaching the 4 minutes left in the podcast. What did you want to plug this week?
Pretty much hit my thing talking about wrestling and the whole deal with Bray Wyatt and all that. I got to plug what I wanted.
Okay.
We hope you all have enjoyed the ride. We talked about it. This was a long time coming, since last week.
So before, this podcast we just discussed last week.
That's right. We got to do the food.
So what we're going to do before leaving today is we're going to try these 2 new foods that we have in front of us here. First, we're going to do the Cinnabon Bakery inspired cereal. And
Which a little more nostalgia. They look very similar to the Kellogg's Cinnamon Mini Buns from the 90s.
Another quick plug real quick on Cinnabon. If you go on Facebook and look up Cinnabon, all of you horror fans, it is a spoof by director Mike Lombardo, who is the director behind I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday. And he did this awesome little comic called Cinnabon. It's what happens when the Hellraiser movie is recast for the remake and what Pinhead and all the Cenobites do after that.
I heard about it. I haven't checked this out yet, but that actually looks...
It's hilarious. It's as funny as it sounds. So, Dan, here's some Cinnabon. So I'll try this here.
See if this isn't the same cereal from the 90s.
My God, you're right. It does look just like that stuff.
It does. It's pretty good.
it tastes the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the same.
exactly the same. It's amazing how you can rebrand something and it will just go. I mean, we've seen the return of Oreos this year. In the last year, we've seen Surge come back.
It's
Crystal
that
Pepsi.
90s nostalgia, man. I still have some Surge in the fridge. They discontinued it in this area. I'm drinking a Mellow Yellow right now, so I'll plug that as well.
Which goes to tell you this, basically. I'm not saying that the times we live in are hard, but the times we came from were a lot better.
Yes, definitely. So, next up is the limited edition Mystery Oreo. So not really sure what the mystery flavor cream is.
It's white.
It's white, you know that, and I did not supply it. So, this should be interesting. Wife of Dan, would you like to try one of these along with us?
It smells interesting.
Okay.
This is like this is a double stuff.
All of us
This is double
but my beautiful cat Binks will be trying this. So,
Have a citrus smell?
it's got a citrus
Yeah.
smell.
It's
Kind of
Kind of
lemony.
a
Yeah,
fruity
yeah.
type smell.
Okay.
Is it? Okay.
All right.
Give it a whirl.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Do it.
It does remind me of
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles without the Fruity Pebble in it.
It does.
Got it.
They're very good. I did not try the Fruity Pebble ones that came out, but these are good.
It does.
And it's definitely a fruity.
That aftertaste, wow.
It is strong.
Yeah.
The aftertaste is strong with this one.
Interesting with that flavor and the chocolate cookie. I mean,
It's
It
good though.
is. It's a good mix. I like it.
I can definitely taste the lemon.
Yeah.
I will ask for another one. In fact.
Absolutely. So
yeah, let's
we're
go
approaching
ahead.
the last minute here, so we're going to wrap things up. We're each going to take another one of these cookies here and enjoy it. And hopefully you all stuck through. And we look forward to bringing you other podcasts and other taste tests and other wrestling tidbits and
And just random
whatever
nonsense.
whatever happens here. So
Yeah.
as we leave you today, the Steelers are down 3-2.
Ah, boo.
What the hell?
3-2. It sounds like a baseball score.
It does.
It-
Kansas City's up 3-2 over Pittsburgh, but
Royals over the Pirates.
we know Pittsburgh's not playing in October, unfortunately.
Neither of the
So-
Royals. But
Oh, sad
Well, if our
face.
production
Yeah,
value
but the
was
Royals
higher,
at least have been playing in October recently.
if our
So
production value is higher,
So
we could
we're
play and
good.
kiss them goodbye
All right.
at the
And
Nationals
we're out.
goodbye, people.
later.
Live long and prosper.